What a fun game to be a part of. Obviously, when you win, it's a lot more fun. But either way, just the atmosphere in the Garden, Friday night, semifinals, it's still, there's just nothing like it in college basketball, man. That place was rocking. And I just think this is the best tournament in college basketball. This is just an incredible place to play. And a lot of credit to Xavier. I told Travis he's making this look easy. First year, he did a hell of a job with this team. They got a young team too, a lot of new guys, and man, they were playing as well as anybody in the conference coming down the stretch, and we knew it. This was no surprise at all. They were extremely tough defensively. They got a lot of answers offensively. Scruggs is awesome. Hankins inside, and they're a really good team. I thought it was big when Marshall found out. He's another great player. And then finally, just leadership from two great seniors that have done it their whole careers, their whole lives. They've done it in high school, college. We're just really lucky to have these two.
Questions in the middle, second row.
Hey, Coach. So at one point, Jermaine was 2 for 10 from the field. Did you or any of the players give him words of encouragement at one point to help him out of it, or you just kind of let him play through it?
Jermaine's got a great attitude, so he really doesn't need encouragement, but he is a kind of a young basketball player. You kind of just got to give him, we all just give him little thoughts, he was open, and he was driving the ball, and you said to him, just take your shot. It's simple, but he just, he does not fear failure, man. He stays aggressive, and it's a special characteristic he has, and it was big tonight.
Jay, I know Colin didn't have the game he wanted to on offense. What about that play on defense to force that charge in the last few seconds?
Man, he's so valuable to our team. He does all the little things, and obviously he's had big nights scoring, but he defensively, he's always one of the smallest guys on court, and he's one of the toughest. He'll out-rebound big guys sometimes, but that charge was huge, man. That was a big play.
Over here on the left, Jason.
Coach, you kind of struggled offensively for most of the game, and then you found your offense, specifically your three-point shooting late. How were you able to finally get the buckets that you wanted?
We really couldn't run any offense. They just were switching everything, and then we just put it in Phil's hands. And it's kind of embarrassing to say as a coach, we didn't have any offense left. We just put it in Phil's hands and told him to just make decisions. Drive it if he thought he can get to the rim. If he didn't, try to find people for threes. And when he got hot, it forced them to leave to help, and then he found people for threes.
Right here in front.
Eric, can you please put us in your shoes for a moment and walk us through that play, the tip-in play to help force overtime? What did you see on the floor after Phil drove in?
Well, the bench was just yelling at me, offensive glass, and I saw Booth drive, and it was just like, I was on the weak side, and most shots go off on the weak side. So I was just thinking aggressive rebounding, and the ball was there, so I just tipped it in, and that was it.
In the middle.
Jay, can you just talk about the way, even though your three-point shots weren't dropping, how does it feel to grind out a game like this and force it to overtime and then win it?
I'm really, really proud of our guys. It's really gratifying as a coach to see young people under pressure in a really tense environment, keep a positive attitude and stick to our core values, stick together, and just grind it out, man. It's if you can take that into life and handle everything in life that way, you're gonna be a pretty successful guy. So I was really, really proud that they got to experience that, and I was proud that they did it.
In the middle, Terry.
Jay, you've had a lot of players have great performances up here. Where does the performance Phil ranks?
Right now, the greatest ever. It's the only one I can remember right now, Terry, honestly. I couldn't tell you another one right now when you give me some time, but right now, that was the greatest one I've ever seen.
In the middle, Ted.
Phil, talk to us about your ability to get to the rim off the dribble and just take advantage of what you saw. You really seem to be in a zone late in regulation and then in the overtime.
Just trying to stay aggressive. They were doing a good job on the ball, just trying to get in the lane and either make a pass or either score. So I was just trying to make a read on what the defense was giving me.
In the back, Zach.
For Phil, this is the 8th consecutive tournament win for you guys. I think it's the 5th straight final you're in now. is there almost kind of have the attitude of, this is our tournament? I mean, the place is full of Villanova fans. You guys have had so much success here. What's kind of the whole attitude and mantra of this team in this tournament?
I definitely don't think it's our tournament. We were just down 7 like a couple minutes ago. We just try to focus on the next game and just try to focus on the opponent in front of us. It's great how much the fans come out and support from Villanova. It's a lot of, you can hear it a lot, especially when the game gets really tight. So we just try to take each game and try to take on our next opponent.
Down on the right, Richard.
Coach, if you could just talk a little bit more about Xavier. I mean, you saw him twice in the middle when they were somewhat struggling, and then they beat you to come out of that. Can you see a difference, a growth of them between the last?
Huge difference. Anybody who's in their first year in any sport, the coach, the staff, you got graduate transfers, you got freshmen, you got a lot of people in their first year. That's what we're struggling with a little bit. Like our staff, we lost our 2 top assistants the last 2 years. We got young guys who are in new positions, right? We got graduate transfer freshmen. They had it worse. New head coach. It takes time, man. It takes time. And what Travis did with that team from the beginning to where they're playing now, I don't know all the tournament stuff, but that team could beat a lot of NCAA tournament teams, a lot. And the way they're playing right now, and I think it's a credit to Travis and their program. And they get all those guys back, man. They're going to have a hell of a team. When we play games like this in the tournament, you don't want to lose. We definitely don't want to lose. But if you do, would have been nice for them to get in the tournament because that team's playing as well as anybody right now.
All the way in the back, Bob.
Jay, this is very similar to that previous game, as he said they were hurting you in the paint, and it seemed like you were searching for a lineup where you could defend the paint and yet still have an offense on the. Is this something? Did you learn some stuff, and is this something that might pay off later on if you run into a matchup where a team that's similarly talented?
Yeah, that's been our struggle all year, Bob. We have some lineups that are really good defensively, and then we haven't found a way offensively with that group, and then some good offensive lineups. We haven't found a way defensively with that group. And we were trying to play it like football almost, and just playing offense, defense a lot. It got us through, but I think we did find some things. I don't want to share them, but we did have the defensive lineup in there offensively, and we did find some good things at the end of this game.
Phil, I don't think you guys had a lead in the second half at all, and we always talk about how young this team is with a couple experienced leaders, but how comfortable are you executing down the stretch, knowing the game is basically on your shoulders at times?
This is a whole new team, so we've been in some tough games, some close games throughout the season. Though we lost some, won some, so we've been down the stretch in some tough games. So we just try to stay together. We just talk to each other, stay together. Hey, let's get another stop. Let's just focus on don't play the score. Just get another stop, and play like that. And then Eric's tip and tied it up, but we didn't even have the lead second half. I didn't even really know it, but I was just trying to tell the team, just keep getting stops, keep focusing on next deep possession. That's all you can really do.
A couple more, second row. Go ahead.
Jay, just going back to the Gillespie charge at the end of the game, in that situation when it's a tie game and it's late, do you want you guys to go out and try to take a charge in that situation, given that the call can really go out of the way and decide a game?
We want our guys to always try to make the right play, there are time and score plays, right? You don't know if, they're going to tap that in. They do a good job of driving, putting it up on the glass, and then tap that in. So he had to come to help. If they don't call a charge there, that could be an offensive rebound, right? So it was a big play. So we just wanted to make the right play. And the play that was scary is at the end. You have 1.4 seconds or something like that. If you don't throw that ball in bounds and they get it based on out of bounds, that was the most difficult decision.
2 more. 1.
Coach, thank you. It seemed like for a while you didn't have an answer.
No, for the whole game we didn't have an answer.
What did you do to finally get that?
He's so long, and they do a great job of throwing it up over the top to him, and he's really got extension on the shot. We just tried to keep Demir on him as much as we could and try to pressure the passers. That's why at the end, Wellage got to the rim because we were up pressuring him so much not to feed the play. He went right by us. So it was just a constant cat and mouse game, trying to pressure passers, trying to keep moving on them. they're very well coached in how to feed the post, which most teams aren't good at that anymore. They're really good at that.
Last one.
Coach, what elements do you take from a game like today and playing in a championship game tomorrow that go right into next week and the week after?
There's pressure in these games here, and there's an intensity in these games here at the Garden that's like nowhere else. Believe it or not, sometimes when you go to a first-round NCAA game after playing here in a championship game, it's actually a downer, and that has affected us in the past. The intensity and the environment in the Garden is far more than an early NCAA tournament game. I worry more about that. You know, after you play in this, you get in a first-round game, it's quiet, and it's in the middle of the day, and you were just in the greatest environment in basketball ever. So that's my concern about playing in games like this.
Villanova, thank you.
Thank you, guys.